guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Bonala Palisa and this is my moving vlog. Let's get into it. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Bonala Palisa and this is my moving vlog. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Bonala Palisa and this is my moving vlog. So I tried getting boxes from like local stores like I did the first time, but nobody just has boxes, or at least they're not willing to give them up. So I'll be using black plastics for most of the things. It's actually not so bad because I already have a few clothes and a few shoes in the plastics and it's going so well so far. So I'm just gonna continue. So I'm just gonna start off with the living room. There are only a few things in here, so just gonna put those in the car and then wait for the moving truck to come so that they can get the heavier things. Also still need to unassemble my Christmas tree. So most of the stuff is already down. I'm just finishing up with my Christmas tree and then this will be about it. Oh my gosh, my hair is stressing me out.
Finally don't get no fuss, finally be riding on my way. Finally woke up with some luck in the book. I don't give a what someone say. Finally got my friends in the back of my roller. We gon' make it big one day. We gon' make it big, I say. We gon' make it big, just stay in there. Stay in the moment. Stay in the moment with me. Give you a moment. Give you a moment with me. Smell all the roses. Smell all the roses with me. Just give you a moment. Stay in the moment with me. You woke up from a while, haven't seen you smile since December. Ripped your heart, got a brand new one since you got lost in November. See it in your eyes when we leave for the night. Wait to make.
So I'm done, well, packing most of my stuff. I'm just waiting for the moving guys to come. So I'm just gonna do a short book review. This is the book that my book club and I have been reading. The title is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I hope that I'm pronouncing it correctly. So at the back, usually you can get most of what a book is about from the back part, but I don't think this really shows much of what's actually in the book. So let me just read the back part of the book just to give you the abstract. I think that's what they call it. Sometimes the one who loves you is the one who hurts you the most. Lily hasn't always had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for the life she wants. She's come a long way from the small town in Maine where she grew up. She graduated from college, moved to Boston, and started her own business. So when she feels a spark with a gorgeous neurosurgeon named Ryle Kincaid, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, everything in Lily's life suddenly seems almost too good to be true. Ryle is assertive, stubborn, and maybe a little arrogant. He's also sensitive, brilliant, and has a total soft spot for Lily. But Ryle's complete aversion to relationships is disturbing. As questions about her new relationship overwhelm her, so do thoughts of Atlas Corrigan, her first love and link to the past she left behind. He was her, how do you pronounce this word? Kindred spirit. Her protector. When Atlas suddenly reappears, everything Lily has built with Ryle is threatened. With this bold and deeply personal novel, Colleen Hoover delivers a heart-wrenching story that breaks exciting new ground for her as a writer. It Ends With Us is an unforgettable tale of love that comes at the ultimate price. Yo, guys, I think this was one of the heaviest books for me to read. And let me just get into it and just try and review what I can and what I can remember. So firstly, I just like the cover. I love that the cover is this particular color. I like the whole cover actually. So in the beginning of the book, Lily and Ryle meet unexpectedly on a rooftop. She had just buried her dad, and she was freaking out over how she wasn't able to give a speech at her dad's funeral. So her dad basically was an abusive man. He abused her mother for most of her life. That's all that she knew him for. So in her speech, she had to say something good, but she froze at the altar because she couldn't remember, or she couldn't really think of anything good that she had to say about the man. So she was up on the rooftop just to gather her thoughts, just to, level up with herself. And then Ryle came up and he was kicking tables, I think he was kicking a chair or a table, something of that sort, because he had been in a surgery where he lost a patient. I think he did lose a patient. So he was just trying to detox, if I can say that. He was just trying to de-stress, actually. So in the midst of all that, Ryle accidentally, caught sight of her. So they start talking, they start flirting, and Ryle isn't your typical love story type of guy. He's I'm not interested in you like that, but I'm always willing to try 1, 2, 3. And that's where it really kicks off. So fast forward, Lily decides to open her own flower shop, which is ironic. Lily Bloom. So she opens her own flower shop, and as she's starting off this flower shop, she meets Ryle's sister, but she doesn't know that she is Ryle's sister. And on the first day, she just asks for a job at the place. Her sister is very wealthy. Her husband is wealthy. Their family is actually very wealthy. So she just asked for a job, and as they're setting up, Lily hurts her ankle. I think she hurt her ankle, and then Ryle's sister then calls him and her husband to come and assist them. So they're reunited once again, and the love story really, really kicks off. And things start escalating quickly. He shows up to her apartment, and it's just your basic type of love story, and things are going so well. And we're falling in love with Ryle. The character build up for every single person is just, it's so amazing. Alyssa, the sister to Ryle, she's amazing. She's quite humble. She's quite, she's hardworking as well. Her husband is also a very funny guy, very wealthy, doing so well. And Ryle's a neurosurgeon. So fast forward once again, Lily and Ryle move in together. At this point, we're all very much in love with Ryle. I love his character. I love that he's so caring. He notices the little things. He does those little cute things, everything. He ticks all the boxes. And then this one night, they're actually cooking, they're having wine. I think she was baking something. So Ryle had an important surgery that was coming up the following week. And in the midst of everything, Lily realizes that, whatever's in the oven is actually now burning. So Ryle rushes to pull it out or take out the pan itself and accidentally burns himself. So Lily is just giggling, she's laughing because it's such a hilarious situation. But for Ryle, it was something completely different. It felt like a trigger, probably was a trigger for him. So that was the first time he laid his hands on her. And I think that's where everything about Ryle disappeared. I wasn't in love with him anymore. I was just very shocked. That's not the twist I was expecting in the entire book. So Lalela. All too often we always say that, oh, if that was me, I would leave immediately. Oh, if that was me, I'd know exactly. No man would ever lay his hands on me. But this is reality, and in as much as I, as a reader, fell in love with Ryle, Lily's story was also just like, okay, she's really into him. The fact that they're living together, they've moved in together, means something for her. And they then move on, and she decides to forgive him and give him a second chance, because apart from that, he's just been ticking all the boxes the entire way. So now it just moves on to, okay, we're trying to build the trust again. We're trying to heal from what happened, and You know, they get back into their love story and things just, you know, they're going well. Back to Lily, she's now thinking about, you know, what her mom went through back when her dad was abusing her, and how now she understands what it felt like. She doesn't know whether to leave, she doesn't know, you know, whether to stick around, but she feels like Ral is different from her dad. Those are two completely different people. You know, she makes examples like her dad didn't even give back to charity, and Ral does. You know, he does so many amazing things. So that's her just, you know, convincing herself that Ral is the right guy, and that's the person that she's going to stick with because of the good attributes that he has, you know. And I get her, I understand her. I really do understand her. When you're not ready to leave something, don't leave. Was that the right thing to say? Not don't leave, but when you leave something and you're not really ready to leave, you're going to keep going back. And that's what we get to see happens. And she's not even able to tell her mother because she feels like she's going to trigger something in her about the abuse that she went through. She's not able to tell Alyssa, who now became her best friend because they were working together and she was sisters with her partner. So there's this novel, or rather a journal, that Lily was keeping back in her high school years. So she was writing it to Ellen, the famous TV presenter with her own show. So it was a really unique way. I liked the way that she was, you know, journaling. She was writing letters to someone else that she never actually sent. But in doing that, I think that it's a healthy habit to actually journal down your thoughts, journal down your days. Sometimes you want to look back on what you've achieved, how far you've come, you know, and those type of things. So Ral discovered that book. That book was, in a way, also a love story with her first crush, first boyfriend, first everything, you know. With his name was Atlas. So in that journal, she just wrote about everything that happened between them, how they fell for each other, how he was homeless. He was staying in one of the abandoned houses in her area, and how he was having difficult issues at home. He ran away from home, I believe, because his mother was now in a relationship or married to a man who didn't really want him to be a part of their family. I think that was the case, but it was something of that sort, something along those lines. And he decided to just run away and later join the military, or just live with his uncle in Boston. I think he wanted to move to Boston and then join the military. But he also had aspirations of becoming a chef. The first thing that he made for Lily was, I think it was cupcakes or cookies. Ryle came across that book. He picked up that book and he most probably went through, you know, a few pages. So it became a really, really bad and heavy issue, because already we had seen now that Ryle has an abusive nature, and it's just going to escalate things from here. So when he came across that journal, it became another fight. It became, you know, another altercation. And at that point, Lily was really questioning herself. She was really questioning who she is and what she stands for, what she's always believed in, how she always felt like her mother should have been able to leave an abusive marriage and chosen her over everything else. So there's so many various issues that keep coming up. There's so many things that keep coming up. And eventually, you know, it was so sad. I didn't expect this book to be so sad. You know, I liked the cover. I liked, you know, just everything about it. I didn't think that it would turn into something so scary, you know, which is reality. So they then move on. Ryle ends up buying her an apartment in the same building as his sister and her husband, which is like a very exclusive place, very beautiful apartment, big enough for them. And you know, they actually got married before he bought the apartment. And I think that at some point Lily thought that the marriage would fix things, because Ryle kept saying, I'm going to do better, I'm going to be a better person. And Ral's family kept telling her that, you know, she's been so good for him. They've never seen him like that. And they decided to get married in Vegas. They just eloped and got married. I think they were with Alyssa and maybe their mom as well, because her mom was pretty upset about not being able to plan her wedding. She was her only child, so obviously she had big aspirations for her wedding. She had so many things that she wanted to do, but because they eloped and all of that, she was kind of upset, but she let it just go after a few months. So when Ral now bought the house, he bought an apartment in that luxurious building, you know, huge kitchen, huge everything. It was, you could see the apartment from just the way she was describing it in this book. It was stunning. Listen, I believe it was stunning. And also it was, you know, right next to their, well, Lily's now sister-in-law's house. So it was easier for them to, you know, have dinners together, get to do 1, 2, 3, what. So Ral also had, I think he had a talent. I think he made a portrait of Lily that he was hanging in Alyssa's apartment, which was one of the things that, you know, we really caught on and we really fell in love with, because you could see that he's very romantic, he's very sentimental, there's just something so special about him. And I think he moved that portrait of her into their new apartment, but there was a point where things got really bad, and she went to Atlas's house. Ral and Lily have this very terrible fight, to a point where she is bruised, terribly bruised. So she went to Atlas's house. She just called him that particular night and went straight to his house. She was staying there for a few days. Her phone was off, you know, no one could reach her. Not even Alyssa could reach her. I haven't dealt with the anger, I haven't dealt with the 1, 2, 3. And this is why I'm abusing you. So when Ral came back from the UK, he unexpectedly saw Lily, and then he saw the baby bump. Which is what I think was very heroic. I think that it was very brave of Lily to now leave this man, the love of her life. You know, I feel like Atlas was her first love, of course, but Ral was someone she really fell in love with, and his character was everything. And for her to make that decision and choose her child and choose herself, that was very brave, and I loved that. I actually loved the ending. So, you know, they fast forward now into the future. Colleen Hoover now fast forwards into the future and then takes it to, you know, just Lily dropping off their child, who is now named after Ral and Alyssa's older brother. You know, she's taking the baby to him to look after for the day, and she unexpectedly runs into Atlas. So the next book is It Begins With Us, and I think that It Begins With Us is all about her and her story with now Atlas, because at the end of that book they're meeting, she runs back to him, drops off the baby, and it's just, you know, it's interesting. So overall, I think that I'll give the book a 4 out of 5. I like the way that it was written. I like the way the characters were developed throughout the book. I like the way that, you know, most of the things turned out. It was so sad that gender-based violence was something that came up in the book, because I thought it was really just going to be a love story. I'm going to fall in love with the characters and just like that. But it's also something that, you know, it's creating awareness. And, you know, in as much as it was a painful read. So that's the end of my book review of It Ends With Us. So this was just my personal review. Later today I'm meeting the Soar girls. My book club is called Soar, so we're going to review the book, and I'm just gonna see how they felt about the book itself and what were their takeaways from this entire book. And yeah, thank you. See you later. relationship, guys. I'm tired of being the Betty in the
Not you. Not you. Very, very easy.
No tender. Yo, guys.
Nobody knows it's not a secret anymore. We're not gonna meet him at the outside.
Masang minute ko kalihal ako.
Need to say let's to me. Don't need for no flowers, babe. I'm already on my way, on my way. Why you blushing? Yeah, sweet concussion. Oh, you miss my touching. You do. Show me something. Give me more than one thing. I need more than less than I do. Say you a good guy. Make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it. I wanna see it. See how. Rewind. When we rewind, it feels so nice. I can't help how. Got this sweet talk. I'm already on my way. I'm pulling up, don't be late. I'm cutting through all the lanes. Sweet talk. You need to say less to me. No need for no flowers, babe. I'm already on my way, on my way. We've been dancing all night long. Right here with you way too long. Don't want nothing here or now. But I'm done waiting, done wasting my time. Got the sweet talk, I'm already on my way. I'm pulling up, don't be late. I'm cutting through all the lanes. Sweet talk, you need to say less to me. No need for no flowers, babe. I'm already on my way, on my way. You prey on my weakness, satisfying you while I keep bleeding. I don't know why you act like you innocent. You wanna take a piece of my heart again. I'll get you up, 'cause I just don't want you. Something in your eyes, the way you stare me that I like. I wanna let you go, but it's like something holds me tight. You might break my heart tonight, but I'm gonna hold it tight. Oh, it feels like yellow, yellow.
Intentional time with our families, like doing things together.
It's too much time already.
Intention.
Be intentional.
I also have honest and tough conversations.
Yo,
It works if you don't live in the same house as those people. So you can live together.
so first go move out.
Yeah.
Move out. Step number. There are no waffles, I guess. The whole day. Oh.
Vlog.
Hi guys,
Welcome to
welcome to Soar.
what?
Like, you know.
You're on camera.
Hi guys.
The drama.
So we can do the milkshake, but because it's cookies like that.
I don't want chocolate.
Okay, maybe I'll show you then.
No, I don't drink coffee.
No, please have more glasses. No problem.
And more water, actually.
Yeah, I'll just drink water.
Must I go?
Yeah.
Content yang mana? Kan harus selalu metian views.
If you go more than 3 days, you're gonna do. Yeah, both. If you wanna go to Victoria Falls, And then you're done. Yeah, then you're done. They give you 3 days. 3 days is enough. Tips.
Oh, it hurts like yellow, yellow, yellow. You had to let me go, yellow, yellow. It hurts like yellow. We tried too many times. Don't misbehave. You must not know me. You make me crazy, kinda like Johnny. Don't sit down better. Better, making me lose my mind, cause I just don't know. Something in your eyes, the way you stare me that I like. I wanna let you go, but it's like something else me tight. You might break my heart tonight, but I'm gonna hold it tight. Oh, it feels like yellow, yellow. It hurts like yellow, yellow, yellow. You had to let me go, yellow, yellow. It hurts like yellow.
Actually, I really like this author. I think that's all I have to say. Yeah, I really love the author.
You can't put it down.
Yeah. But I think the general
guys-
consensus is that it was a good book.
Yeah, it really was.
Cried.
It was
I
painful,
cried.
but it was
so
good.
many times.
I cried. Books are also really good. Yeah, but we'll share the next read. It
was a great
This was such a nice, you know.
It was wholesome.
Yeah, because
Especially
the
from when we were.
first quarter of the year, so yeah, remember.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind.